Hello everyone, welcome to EULAR TV. I'm Mohammed Chipa once again, welcoming you. I'm from University College London, and we are very delighted to have Chris Wincup with us. Chris is, as you know, the consultant rheumatologist and principal investigator from King's College London. Chris, welcome.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for the invitation,
Thank you very much.
Chipper. Always nice to speak with you. So thanks for inviting me along to speak today.
Thank you. So Chris, let me ask you about, you've been the mentor of mentor-mentee meeting, and how did you enjoy that?
So it's slightly surreal for me because I often look at the mentor-mentee meeting invites when they come out from EMUNET and often think, well, who's going to be the mentor this year? And I've thoroughly enjoyed being the mentee. So it felt slightly strange to be invited to be the mentor this time. And you know, I have had to kind of look in the mirror and see slightly more grey hairs in my beard than before. And so it was a really wonderful opportunity. I'm very flattered to be invited. You know, I find that these kind of informal meetings are what EULAR is all about, getting to meet people, getting to share experiences. And if I can offer any advice to anyone kind of for the next steps in that kind of important period where you're trying to think of what you do next with your career, either from my experiences being good or bad, then you know I'm very, very happy to be involved. And it was absolutely fascinating to share some of that experience and thoroughly enjoyable for me. So I hope that the mentees enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely, thank you. And you've done the EULAR quiz last year, and you're excited to catch up with this year's quiz. Any tips?
Yeah, so the quiz last year was fantastic, and I think we've got it slightly more organised this year. So I think it's going to be even better when we do that on Saturday morning. In terms of tips, I don't want to give too much away for any viewers that are going to join. I think come have fun and make sure you're very good at immunology, particular immunology that is drawn on a screen in front of you. So I think that without giving too much away, I think those are the main tips for this year's quiz.
Are you going to leak any questions for our viewer?
No comment. No comment. I've not been paid enough to do that yet. But if you catch me around the conference later with a coffee, maybe.
So right, back to science.
Yeah.
It has been a tremendous year for many things. Especially I was talking about lupus. The landscape has been changing. And what is your note for our viewers and audience?
Well, I think you and I both discussed this quite a lot informally across London, and I think there's a lot of excitement about lupus at the moment. We're now moving to an era where we have new therapies, and those therapies are potentially transformative. So CAR T-cell therapy and cellular therapies are hugely interesting. We're currently setting up our program at King's to plan for all of this, and I think that we're going to learn an awful lot as we start to use these drugs more and more. I think one of the things that's really exciting for me is not just what the clinical response is to these therapies, but how you get this immunological reset. And I think we're going to learn a lot more about the pathogenesis of the diseases we treat, particularly lupus, as we give these therapies. So I think it's an incredibly exciting time in terms of new therapies, but in terms of translational research, this really is a very exciting moment to be looking after patients with lupus.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the last question, I'm sure that will be your favorite question to ask. Any advice for our young investigator?
Yeah. Again, it's one of those moments again where you look and see the grey hairs in your beard. But in terms of my advice and the things that I found helpful were enthusiasm. And I know this myself when I'm doing research that I'm enthusiastic about it, and sometimes you'll bring people along with you. But also I know very well when someone else is enthusiastic about their research and I want to get involved. So I think enthusiasm is a really, really important thing. I think another thing is to find your way, take the risk, back yourself, and that can be very hard as a junior investigator, but back your ideas and see how far they take you. So I think being enthusiastic and then pushing with your own ideas really can take you far, and it's incredibly fulfilling, and I'm very happy to talk to anyone about the highs and lows of an early career in research, but I think those are the things that will really carry you a long way.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris, for being with us. Thank you once again.
My pleasure.